I rescued a warlock and her ghost once. She offered me a drink afterward, but I left before she came back with it. I don't know why, but I returned for the empty bottle later. I've always wondered how she would have treated me if I'd stayed. If she saw my face. And you try to make a fool out of shit.
What's going on, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages, Joker back again once again. So I'm going to go ahead and get my thoughts on Hawkmoon as a weapon out of the way first, as honestly, it's the least important part of my review. Simply put, I don't like it. And to be fair, this is admittedly both a personal preference thing and an analytical look at the weapon on paper comparatively to the other exotic hand cannons. On a personal level, I couldn't really tell you what it is that I don't like. I just don't like the feel of the weapon, which is odd, considering that that's one of the things that most everyone is praising. Maybe it's the insanely high aim assist, as I tend to fight higher levels of aim assist, always overcorrecting when the weapon wants to do the work for me. Maybe it's the boxed-in sight giving me tunnel vision, or maybe it's this weird anxiety about building up that final round. Something in the back of my mind screaming, don't fuck up, don't fuck up, don't fuck up, don't fuck up. Maybe it's because I'm a chronic reloader. Get kills, reload, unless there are other immediate kills to get. And Ace of Spades certainly hasn't helped me with that habit. And maybe, just maybe, it's any number of factors, but I just couldn't find myself liking the weapon, and this is absolutely positively no disrespect to anyone who does. But personally speaking, anytime I was using it, I found myself asking, why am I just not using Ace, or Thorn, or Crimson? Which brings us to the other side, the analytical. On paper, Hawkmoon is really nothing more than a decently statted hand cannon 99.9% of the time. Then, occasionally, maybe, just maybe, you might have the ability to one-tap a Guardian. But more than likely, it's going to be a two-tap, or save a three-tap with a body shot. But then when I compare it to the other exotic hand cannons like Ace, which has Memento Mori, which for those of you who do not know, takes Ace of Spades damage in PvP from 70 per crit to 90 per crit for 6 shots. And this is just something you get after one kill, regardless of how that kill was gotten, meaning I don't have to worry about stacking crits. On top of this, Ace also has Firefly, which does AoE damage, a quick reload, and you get to keep your radar while ADSing. Ace of Spades is just all around a really, really good gun. And I hate to say it, but it rewards minimum effort with guaranteed uptime, guaranteed momentum. If we compare Hawkmoon to Thorn, because the most common argument is that Hawkmoon can two-tap with a degree of reliability, why am I just not using Thorn? Thorn has Mark of the Devourer, which stops health regeneration with DOT. And once you've activated Soul Devourer by picking up one of Thorn's Orby Boys that you get when you kill someone, Thorn becomes a two-tap, meaning instead of having to stack a bunch of crits for the potential to two or one tap, Thorn can two-tap after just one kill. It also, as I said before, stops health regeneration for a short time, and because you can see the DOT markers, you know where your enemy's at if they manage to get away. And then there's Crimson, just an all-around beast. High range, virtually no recoil, and you get health regen on kills. The weapon also reloads itself on kill, allowing you to stay in back-to-back gunfights. Again, momentum. Look, for all my Hawkmoon enthusiasts, let me go ahead and throw you a bone. Hawkmoon is probably one of the most skill-based weapons in the game, on paper. It's supposed to reward skill, but it lacks momentum, or a fitting reward for all the effort expended, more so comparatively to the other weapons available. In fact, I would dare say Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten, two legendary hand cannons, though Sunset, are a far better example of what Hawkmoon wants to be, and the power fantasy it wants to have, a weapon that greatly rewards accuracy. Okay, that part actually went on a lot longer than I thought it would, but moving forward. For what Hawkmoon lacks in anything that I personally look for in a weapon, the quest it gets is a breath of fresh air. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you every part of the quest is amazing. I'm not a fucking liar. The loading in and out of planetary destinations just to look for a feather? Like, come on, Bungie. Come on, bruh. I'm playing this shit on Xbox. Come on. Or the go to the Crucible and kill like 200 Guardians, which was arguably easier than going and killing champions. These steps are clearly nothing more than padding, but it is what it is. The Hawkmoon exotic quest does, however, do one thing that has been sorely missing from exotic quests since, Thunderlord or Outbreak Perfected? It has its own mission. And while the mission itself isn't particularly all that challenging or that long, I appreciate the effort. This is what we need more of. More so because it looks like we'll be able to replay this mission for different roles of Hawkmoon in the future. Now, for me personally, the best part of this quest really isn't the mission, and it clearly isn't Hawkmoon, a gun I would love to love. I mean, just look at it. It's so fucking sexy. No, for me, the best part of the Hawkmoon quest was the story being told. A story that outright tells us Crow is destined for bigger and better things. And I mean bigger and better than being the Hunter Vanguard? For you see, the premise of the mission is that the Traveler has been sending Crow visions in his dreams. The Traveler has been speaking to him. Throughout the story, we get a closer look at Crow as a character and what he's been through since his resurrection. There's this moment where you stumble upon Crow's crow nest, and he talks about this warlock that he saved, how this warlock wanted to have a drink with him, but Crow knew that meant taking off his helmet, revealing who he was in his past. So, the warlock went to go get the drinks to celebrate, but when they came back, Crow was gone, because he was scared of dealing with the uncertainty of what that interaction might bring.
I didn't drink that by myself, in case you were curious. In fact, I didn't have any of it. After Glint brought me to life, I quickly came to realize that Guardians recognized me as whoever I was before. They weren't always kind. So I took to wearing a helmet to hide my face. Before Spider. Even then, I rescued a warlock and her ghost once. She offered me a drink afterward, but I left before she came back with it. I don't know why, but I returned for the empty bottle later. I've always wondered how she would have treated me if I'd stayed. If she saw my face.
This all culminates in Hawkmoon's lore tab. Stalk thy prey, and let loose thy talons upon the darkness. What is this feeling? I did not ask for it, I do not understand it, I do not want it. The crow is so carefree in his ignorance. The bonfire's glow lights up his pale features, and I am drawn to the hope in his golden eyes. Where's the despairing child I anticipated? He drinks from an open bottle of wine against the recommendations of his ghost. The Guardian encourages him, and they're laughing. This celebration is maddening. Neither have reason to be so jubilant. Their world is ending, and they thrash like dying creatures in the final light of a collapsing star. They do not seem to acknowledge the futility of their existence, the impertinence of it in the face of cosmic annihilation. Now the Guardian is drinking, standing close to the fire. Their ghost, too, encourages them not to partake. They poison themselves for the enjoyment of it. I'm reminded of my sisters, of moments spent behind lapping shores, gazing up at infinite stars full of possibilities and wonder. And I'm left yearning. What is this feeling? I don't understand it. I don't want it. They are celebrating their victory over the Taken. The crow is making a gun shape with his hand, swinging a nearly empty bottle of wine around in the other like a sword. The Guardian looks pensive, sitting on a rock by the fire, contemplating the secret they are keeping. The crow notices, but tries not to show it. He wants the Guardian's spirits to be lifted. He wants to be supportive so that they may share in their triumphs together, as equals. I'm reminded of my home. I'm reminded of the warmth of the sun and the embrace of my family. I'm reminded of my father's face. I'm reminded of everyone I betrayed. All the blood spilled in the name of immortality. The warmth of the sun burns me with this memory. What is this feeling? I don't want it. The fire has nearly died. The crow fell over and cannot stand, though he insists he's fine. The guardian is turning the embers with the tip of their sword. The ghosts are talking to one another in quiet conspiracy. The celebration is ended, but I can sense their emotions are mixed. Complex and midrid things, when a simple, singular focus would suffice. There's a growing kinship here, against better judgment. What is this feeling? That's a great and wholesome story, and you'll love to see it. Also, that narrator though? Savathun? Nani? Okay. At least that's my interpretation. It could be Zivo Arath, or it could be Oryx. Needless to say, it's one of the Hive Gods, and holy shit, that's cool. I'm really enjoying the Crow story. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Aldrin/Crow is one of, if not the best written character in all of Destiny. If I had one complaint, it would be this sort of weird suspension of disbelief that Bungie asks us to undertake when it comes to Crow and his past. We're supposed to believe that somehow, someway, through some Herculean leap in logic that us mere mortals will never be able to comprehend, Crow has been abused by other Guardians, so much so that he wears a helmet all the time whenever he's around them, and this is because he's Aldrin, but he also has absolutely no clue who he was or what he did. How? That's so fucking stupid, because it would mean that every Guardian understands that this is not Aldrin enough to not remind him of his past, but is still holding a unknowing person accountable for the actions of his past self. Even though this literally isn't Aldrin, it's Crow. I don't fucking buy it, and it is honestly the worst part of the Crow story. It's so fucking jarring anytime it's brought up. It's one of those unnecessary pieces of writing where you can tell the author has this big reveal that they want to do about who Crow really is, even though he should already know. And they're just dancing around it until we get to that reveal, which is poor writing and kind of stupid in my opinion. With all of that said, I know I've sounded a little harsh, but I really do like this quest. And in all honesty, I wish this was the route more exotic quests took. I wish I could like the weapon more, and you know what? Maybe time will tell. You are able to get random rolls on Hawkmoon, and a catalyst could change everything. So perhaps in the future, the right iteration of Hawkmoon could change my mind. And I would be more than happy to come back and talk about it, if and when that day comes. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Remember to like, but only if you did. Subscribe for more. Feel free to donate to my Patreon if you're feeling particularly generous. We have t-shirts at Teespring. Links in the description below for all of that. But above all else, stay frosty.